Welcome to the Great Card Quest. Well, look to the left. Mr. George Grenchick is back, a resident expert on the time period.
Don't build me up too much.
You know what?
Tell the
I
people
have
who
to.
you are. They may have forgotten.
Yes, I'm Rilio Mastrantonio. Thank you, the host of the Great Card Quest. And once again, we must not have done anything wrong the last time because they let us come back and do another show.
I guess.
We're here at Baseball Card Exchange at 709B US Highway 41, Cherville, Indiana. Boy, you think I practiced that or something. So it's a wonderful place. If you come back, go back, we originally did show 6 here. So if you want to, we took a panorama of the place. If you want to check it out, go back and check out show 6. Like I said, you know, they let us do another show here, so we're proud. That do we get kicked out of anywhere yet?
Not yet.
All right. Well, we're working on it. So today, just to bring everyone to speed in case it's your first show, I am building the 1971 Topps Black Beauty Set Baseball. It's a very hard set to build. It's going to be PSA 7 Graded and above, and I'll show you the cards in a minute here. There's a few 8 sprinkled in there, here and there. Dangerously close to finishing it, so we're almost there. I hope to wrap it up by show probably 13, maybe. We'll see. This is show 10, so we're moving along. And those of you that stuck with us all the time, God love you. So,
Or what's the matter with you?
Or what's the matter with you? Yes, I would seek some help as fast as you possibly can. All right, so we're going to cover cards. We've been doing 50 at a time. Not all 50, believe me. I don't want to put everyone to sleep. But we're going to do cards 425 through 474, kind of the highlights, some of the unique cards, unique players. And Mr. G, as we call him, George Grenchick here, is going to chime in with some shining memories. Because I was a little young in this period, but he was just a couple.
71's near and dear to the heart of a Pirate fan.
Yeah, that's right. He is a
Series.
massive. It'll come out. Don't worry. We have one Pirate only in this set.
Oh, we got Danny.
Yeah, we got Danny. All right. So the first card. Let's dig into it. Card number 425, Doug Rader, a third baseman from the Astros. All right. Now there's 132 sevens, 178s, 18 nines, and 110. So there's only 110. And remember, just to put some context to this, there was about 300,000 cards graded, and there's only 252 PSA 10s in the world. So they're very rare, and there's one for this card, but I looked at the sales information on Vintage Cards Right. There's no sale information. So whoever's got it,
They're keeping it.
they're keeping it. And I don't blame them. It's probably worth a lot. So Mr. Rader was kind of an underrated guy. I looked at the card and I'm like, should I feature this guy? But he had 5 straight gold gloves at the catcher position, hard to do, 1970 to 74. He was a defensive wizard.
He was good. Yeah. Red Raider.
The red or the Rooster was his name.
Right. Red Rooster.
Red or the Rooster. Yeah, that's either way. Because he had, why? Freckles and red hair.
He was red hair. The same thing with Red Shanings one show ago. Or
Yeah,
so.
there you go. That's right. That was 4 shows, but
Well,
time just, you know.
Time is
1973 was his career year. He had 146 hits. He was the best third baseman in the league for 5 years, leading all categories in 2 of the 5. So in other words, he was damn good, basically. He managed. Then he went on to manage. That's kind of, I remember more as a manager than a player, to be honest with you. He managed the Rangers, the White Sox, the Angels, in an 8-year span between 83 and 91. So
He's another guy that if they had the defensive metrics that they do today, he may be more well known than he is. Because I know as a kid, nobody had stats on how many errorless games or innings you played or what your fielding percentage was. Everybody knew the offensive statistics. But nowadays, I think the defense is more appreciated, and there are metrics to measure.
Awesome.
You know,
Yeah,
things
no,
like that, and I'm sure
they
he
measure
would've-
everything.
yeah,
Bat
yeah.
speed and velocity, and who knows.
How many
Home run's a
times the
home
ball
run.
spins
Yeah, it's
when you
crazy.
throw it.
Next, no real significant. I got a story with this though. This is card number 435, Jose Cardinal.
Is Jose Cardinal.
He was with the Cards, yeah.
Cardinals and Cubs.
I'm born and raised here in Chicago, along with Mr. G. We've known each other forever since he was my teacher in 6th grade, and so we love our Cubs and Sox. So he loves the Pirates, and I can't blame him. I really have no angst towards the Pirates. I have to say they're one of the teams that.
Well, they've been
the Cardinals
they've been fairly harmless for quite a while now.
They have.
This year maybe not, but
so
we'll see.
So Mr. Cardinal, the story I have is when I was playing Little League at this time, and what he would do is, if you remember, he would have his hat on under his helmet. He would bat with it. Then when we would get on base, he would take the helmet off. He would take his hat, he would fold it in half, and he'd put it in his back pocket.
Okay. Didn't he have a massive fro for a while?
He did.
He was
Giant fro.
because the hat looked funny.
It did.
On his
It
fro.
did. So he'd take the hat off, and he'd put it in his back pocket.
Yeah.
And so, of course, as a child, I'm emulating Jose Cardinal. So I would take my hat off, and my coach would be like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I want to be Jose Cardinal." All right.
Then hit better.
Yeah. And there's not many. Now this is an interesting fact for those of you that collect out there. Okay. First of all, I make this point along the way every now and then. There's not a lot of cards of his graded because he's not like a superstar. You'll see when we get to some of the superstars, there's 400 sevens, all that stuff. He only has 92 sevens, but he has 181 eights, 23 nines, and 0 10s, PSA graded. But believe it or not, his 7 cards cost more than the 8 cards because there's more of them, but people want more 8 sets. They want to build the set. They want the higher card. So it makes sense. So, but there's only 92 sevens. So that was a little, believe it or not, a tough card to find for Jose Cardinal. You'd think he would be like in droves, but sometimes it's scarcity. All right, next, Mr. Card 436, Wilbur Wood, pitcher predominantly with the White Sox, but he pitched elsewhere.
Yeah,
I remember
play
Wilbur.
for the Pirates for a while, or was it?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he very good.
I think Wilbur, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's the guy who had a win in both games of the doubleheader.
He was the one to start both ends of a doubleheader.
Is that what it was?
Yes.
Yeah, with his knuckleball? Okay, yeah,
Yes.
because that does not put the strain on your...
No.
That's what it was.
Him and Hoyt Wilhelm.
Okay.
So he was Boston signed him in 1960. He started off slow, and he did not even sniff the major leagues till 1965. So he took him a while. But he played 11 years predominantly with the White Sox, or played 11 years with the White Sox, 67 to 78. He started slow he was with Boston and the Pirates from 60 to 65, somewhere in that range. But he didn't do much. He was kind of just an average pitcher at that point. Then when he got to the White Sox, he had a renaissance. Good for the White Sox. He had all but, ironically, this is how bad he did in those 5 years. He had 164 wins. 163 of them were with the White Sox. So in that 5-year span, I wasn't overplaying it. He had one win. So
well, the way the Sox are going, maybe I'll look him up.
Yeah, no kidding. He probably still pitch. July 20th, 1973. He was the last pitcher to start both ends of a doubleheader.
Yeah, that's what I was.
It's incredible. So he had a knuckleball apparently.
Yeah.
Last American League pitcher to lose 20 games in the same season. 1973, he lost 20 games. He went 24 and 20. He's the last one to do that. So he's kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Infamous? He's more infamous than famous.
Well, yeah, it was durable.
Yeah. So overall, a 500 pitcher. He was solid. He was durable. I do remember the one game, I think it was at Comiskey Park. I was at our cottage on a Sunday, and he got a line drive to the knee, like directly to his knee. And he flipped like in the air, and he was just laying there in pain. I'll never forget that as long as I live. So the next one of the few cards I don't have. I only have, I'm missing a few, but one of them is, here's a Pirate for you. Danny Murtaugh, card number 437. All right, Mr. Murtaugh.
Yep, he was the manager for the 1960 World Series, and he was gone by the late 60s, but there was some issue, I can't remember what it was, with the manager. Was it not Chuck Tanner, or who was it? But anyway, they brought Danny back toward the beginning of the 71 season, so he ended up being the manager of the 71 Pirates.
Who was the only manager, I'll do a little trivia, that had more wins than Danny Murtaugh
For the Pirates?
Yep.
Maybe Pike Trainer, Honus Wagner.
Fred Clark. I'll
Fred
put you on
Clark.
the-
Oh,
Fred
that's
Clark.
cool.
He had more wins. He's the only one. He played. He was.
I was just a young man.
Yeah,
at that
you
time.
were. And when you were a young man then, he had 9 years. He played second base for the Phillies, so he had some good major league. He was just an average player. He really was more.
Yeah, he was not much of a player.
He became manager of the Pirates in '60, as you said. He won the World Series in '60.
Mm-hmm.
Then he won his second with the Pirates in '71. You nailed that.
Yeah.
And he had 1,115 wins, 950 losses, in 15 seasons with the Pirates. So I remember Mr. Murtaugh. Card-wise, not many. 115 sevens, 136 8, 13 nines, no tens.
And he's one of the Pirate numbers that's retired.
Oh, there you
for all
go.
time.
See, that's why you get the big bucks. All right, next is
I get a buck. That would be nice.
next is card number 438, Mike McCormick. He was a solid player.
Yeah,
he was
I remember.
Pitcher for the
Yeah.
Yankees.
I don't remember much.
He won the Cy Young.
Did he win it?
He won in '67.
Oh, really?
Yep. He was the first Giants winner ever. So he was with the Giants,
Okay.
New York Giants then, not the football Giants, obviously. And he was a lefty.
Mm-hmm.
He bounced around from the Giants to the Orioles to the Senators, back to the Giants, and in that year, 1967, he beat every other major league team.
Oh,
He's one of the only pitchers to do that. One of the few that
that's a
beat
cool
everybody.
stat.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you get everything because of the computers. I mean, just unbelievable facts. I mean, to ad nauseum. This is the most doubles ever hit on a Thursday afternoon game.
Incredible.
In the-
Wait till AI comes out, the artificial intelligence.
Then they'll make stuff up.
Right. This is we bring the salient facts to this. Retired in 1971 after brief stints with the Yankees and the Royals. He had 134, 128 lifetime record. Card wise, just a handful: 84 sevens, 111 eights, 5 nines.
I just want to stop in, and as your former English teacher, and congratulate you on using that big word salient.
Thank
correctly.
you.
That's very nice.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I try to. We at our home we have a contest where we try to work in
A new word?
big words,
Big words.
and then we call out when we work in a big. Like the other day, I was talking to my son, and I threw in magnanimous.
There you
and
go.
That was we called that out as a word. So you can't do it purposely. You just have to kind of.
Yeah, that's flow.
I try to work in cornucopia in a conversation. It's hard to do. All right, next.
Look,
one of
I
my-
got me a cornucopia.
There you go. See, you worked it in. This is their cornucopia of cards in this
There is.
baseball card exchange. Quite a selection. So this is card number 439. It's a rookie card.
Myriad of cards. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
myriad, yes. Greg Luzinski,
Oh, the bull.
the Bull. Love Greg. And he's with Scott Reed, who kind of never really made it, but nonetheless, this is all about the Bull.
Yeah.
And he was a White Sox, so
was a
we
White
love
Sox,
him.
yeah.
But the Bull, he was nicknamed the Bull. Thank you. Him and Mike Schmidt were a pretty lethal duo
Mm-hmm.
later on. He's a 4-time National League All-Star, 4 seasons over 300. He had a bat. I thought he was more of a pure power hitter, which he was.
Yeah.
But he could hit. He had a great eye. He had an amazing swing. It was so smooth. And man, when he hit it hit it. Oof. He ended up in Philly, and he was on that same World Series team as Larry Bowa. Larry
Larry
Bowa, 1980. Overall, solid player. Just love Luzinski. He was a Sock. He was a solid guy. Now the next guy, loved him too. I remember him. He's just like, it's a cool name too. Let's face it. This is card number 440, Bert Campaneris from the A's. He was a shortstop.
Yep.
And I just love the name Bert Campaneris. It's awesome. And once again, he's 440. They gave stars like round numbers. They tried to give him the 440, 450, as opposed to the other people didn't know. His real name was Dagoberto Campaneris Blanco.
There you go.
So they called him Bert.
I would too.
Just for the heck of it.
Yeah, that was
I
the
thought that was
shortstop.
quite fascinating, really.
3 consecutive World Series championships for the A's, and now this
Yeah.
year they're thinking they got to get out of town.
Yeah, they're going to go. I heard Vegas, right?
It's too bad, yeah.
He led the AL in stolen bases, the American League in stolen bases, 6 times from 65 to 72. So the man could steal.
Yep.
6 All-Star games. He was part of that 1972, 1974 World Series sweep by the A's. Amazing. He bounced around at the end of his career with Angels, Rangers, and Yankees. And he holds the A's records in the following. Games played, 1,795. Hits, 1,882. And at-bats, 7,180. So he's one of the prolific A's of the time. And he was on that team with Bill North. What a team that was, man.
Mm-hmm.
Great team. Bill North, Ollie Fingers, and
Joe Rudy.
Sal
Bando.
We did him in a prior
Catfish
show.
Hunter.
Yeah. Catfish Hunter. Oh, man. What a
Blue
team.
on there?
Yeah, Rick Monday was on there too, wasn't he?
I don't know about, maybe that was later, but they had a...
Yeah, they had a great team. The next one, it's a Cub, so we love him. But he was really better than I thought he was, because I always remember him as being old, because I was young and he was in the league forever. Card number 441, Milt Pappas. Cup picture for the Cubs. Like I said, he was kind of later in his years during that time, and
Did he throw no hitter with the Cubs?
he did.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I think I watched it.
17 years he played in MLB. He had a no-hitter on September 2nd, 1972 against the Pirates.
Oh.
Or Padres. 1972 against the Padres. I got Pirates on the mind because of you. No-hitter on September 2nd, 1972 against the Padres. He was one hitter shy of a perfect game, and there was some kind of controversy around his...
this is starting to...
Yeah, I can't remember the controversy exactly, but it was kind of wishy-washy whether it was an error or a hit or something.
Can't remember what it was, but there was something.
The umpire made a questionable call. And remember Mr. Carlos Zambrano? Remember Carlos,
the
madman? No Cub threw a no-hitter after Mr. Pappas until Carlos Zambrano on September 14th, 2008. So 36 years it took the Cubs to get
Wow.
Well, it took them a century to get a World Series.
A little more than a century.
Well, give or take.
Everybody has a bad
century. It's so sad. But here's the cool thing about Mr. Pappas. I didn't know he was this good. Okay, he was a top 10 in the top 10 for ERA 8 times, wins 6 times, fewest walks per 9 innings 9 out of 10 times, most complete games 7 out of 10 times, most shutouts 8 out of 10, and he ended up with 209 wins and 164 losses and 43 shutouts. I didn't realize he was that good.
No.
Yeah, there's 119 sevens, 192 eights, 8 nines, and there is a 10. And that was sold on April 6th of 2008 for $1,999 US.
There you go.
So, all right, we're working our way through here. We got to get Mr. G over to his trivia.
Yeah.
We'll be done. So, next one is Cesar Geronimo. I did not have this card yet, one of the few I don't have. Card number 447, why looking? Nothing on there. 447. His name was Cesar Francisco Geronimo Zorrilla. Great name. Yankees sent him down. Astros grabbed him on a Rule 5 draft. I have to look up what a Rule 5 draft is.
I don't know.
After 3 seasons, he went to the Reds as part of the Big Red Machine. Did well there. He batted over 300 in 1976. He finished in Kansas City, and he had 3 World Series appearances, 2 titles, 75, 76. He was also in the 72 World Series. So that's pretty cool. Big one here. Spend a minute on this guy. Number 450, Bob Gibson. And once again, he's got a round number, 450.
Mm-hmm.
Bullet Bob Gibson also played for who? Who was he Bullet Bob Gibson for? Not baseball related. Little trivia for Mr. G. Curly Neal. The Harlem Globetrotters.
Was he?
He was Bullet Bob Gibson for the Harlem Globetrotters.
Oh. Yeah, most players.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. I thought that was a great fact.
Wow.
His nickname in baseball was Gibby. He's famous for the brush bat, keeping the players off the plate. He'll throw at you.
He was, he had a voice, very high-pitched voice, and he sounded almost like sissified, but he was deadly to hitters. He was not, people that batted against him did not like him.
No, I heard he was...
But he was a nice guy, but when he's pitching, it was a different story. He had one of the greatest years any pitcher ever had.
1968.
Yeah,
he was like channeling me.
Yeah.
He had a 1.12 ERA.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
First of 2 Cy Youngs he won that year. He got National League MVP and he won a pennant. Not a bad year. When he have a 112, he should.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody hit him.
Yeah.
World Series titles in 64 and 67. He ended up with 251 wins, 174 losses, He had 3,117 strikeouts and a lifetime 2.91 ERA. National Baseball Hall of Fame,
Yeah,
1981.
sure.
Next, Mr. Don Kessinger, card number 455. Love Don. He's a Cub. You gotta love him. Born and raised in Chicago. He just ended up being he's cool. He's in there no matter what, him and Becker. He one of the best shortstops in the league in the early 60s and 70s. 12 seasons with the Cubs. Then he went to the Cards. They traded him. Broke my heart. Really remember that. It was traumatic.
Yeah.
It was traumatic. I don't think I've recovered. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe they explain some things.
He was a 2-time Gold Glove winner, and he had a bunch of double
He was
plays.
kind of tall for a
He was
shortstop,
big,
was he?
yeah, he was
6'4"?
tall. He was tall.
Oh no, 6'1".
6'1". He looked tall. I was like 6 or 7, so everybody looked tall. All right. So next card 459, Mr. Jim Lefevre. He was a second baseman, third baseman for the LA Dodgers. He was the first player to win a World Series with the Dodgers in 1965 and the first player to win a Japanese World Series or Japanese Series with the Lotte Orions in 1974.
There you go.
So a little bit of Tom
I didn't
Selleck.
know
What was
that.
that movie where he goes over and he's the Japanese, he plays in the Japanese?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He played all 8 years with the Dodgers as a player. Wasn't a great player, just kind of a good
Solid,
player. But
yeah.
managing, he did great. He managed the Mariners, the Cubs, the Brewers in a span of 10 years from 89 to 99, and he coached for 7 other teams. So he made a good living. All right, a couple left. We have Mr. Jim Hart, card 461. He was third base outfield for the Giants.
He's a good hitter, big.
Never really hit
Good
stardom. But he does have these guys all have distinguishing facts, or they wouldn't be in the
All right,
distinguishing facts part.
What's the distinguishing fact here?
Thank you, Mr. G. On July 8th, 1970, he hit this for the cycle.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
Okay.
but so what?
Yeah,
A lot of-
that's been done.
But the same game, he had 6 RBIs in 1 inning.
That's
He had
not, yeah.
3 in the same game. He had a 3-run triple and a 3-run home run. So not
Wow.
many have done that. So
No, that's kind of.
you have to do
Yeah.
to get on this roster of our show,
Uh-huh.
the Great Card
You gotta do
Quest.
something really
You have to
cool.
do something really cool.
Yeah.
So otherwise, you're not cool enough for our show. Just because you were a Major League Baseball player and had thousands of millions of people adoring you. All right, but no greater achievement than being mentioned on our show.
Huh.
All right,
God.
so Tim McCarver, number 465. I know it's obvious, right? I get it. I'm just
yes.
kidding. I'm just kidding. He's a master of that. But he actually was a hell of a player. I didn't realize that he joined the Cardinals in '59. He was only 17. He was like a bonus baby,
good
they
catcher,
called him.
yeah.
I don't know what
yeah.
that.
They gave him money, yeah, and bonuses then were like 1 innings paid today, but
Right.
he probably wasn't remembered for his hitting as much because he was such a good announcer. His career lasted so long. in the booth.
30 years.
Yeah.
But he became a starting catcher after 3 years. He caught for Gibson,
Yeah.
Carlton, and as a matter of fact, he was like Steve Carlton, the left-hander for the Cardinals. He was like his go-to catcher.
Yeah.
Like Carlton didn't want anyone else to catch him. He had his World Series in 1964, 21 years with the Cards, Phillies, Expos, and Red Sox. 2 All-Star appearances, and you've all heard him in the booth forever, 30
Yep.
years. Much maligned announcer, but I don't mind him. I mean,
He was a good analyst,
and we've all used the phrase when someone says something obvious. Thank you, Tim McCarver. But no, Tim, if you're listening, I like you.
He
for what that's
might be
worth.
dead.
Is he?
I don't know.
I hope not.
I'm
Tim, I
sorry.
hope you're alive.
Tim, if I apologize, I'm sure you're watching if you're alive.
Yes, hopefully you're watching us. That means we've hit it big.
I hope the shock doesn't sit. Well, never mind.
No. Tim, I like you. So the last one of today is card number 466, Ken Berry. He was a outfielder for the Angels. All right. And you're asking, well, what notable fact does Ken Berry have? Because he wasn't that great.
He was starred on a lot of TV shows.
You're thinking of the Mayberry RFD Ken Berry.
It's the same guy, I think. Maybe
I
not.
don't think so.
Let's see. Let me look at him.
Yeah, take a look.
I think that might be. No.
I remember Ken Berry. That's old. That's scary. So, 14 years he played, but here is the distinguishing fact about Mr. Berry. In a 2-year span from September of 1971 to July of 1973, he had 510 consecutive outfield chances without error.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yet he only had 2 Gold Gloves. So, whatever.
Sometimes those can be deceiving because like Ernie Banks never made very many errors, but he also never got to that many problems.
That's a great point.
You know, it's,
He made a lot of it. So he had a 989 career fielding percentage though, so he was pretty good. He had only had 30 errors in 2,837 chances.
wow.
Yeah, so he was damn good. So offensively average, but a defensive wizard. And there is, count-wise, 103 of him, 7s, 125 8s, 6 9s, and there is a 10, but it hasn't been sold in long enough for vintage card prices to record it. So if you have that card out there, congratulations.
We're pulling
Hope
for
you're
you,
watching.
Ken.
Yes, pulling for you, Ken.
Does Ken get a cut?
I don't know. I hope that, our well wishes to Tim McCarver.
Yes, we hope you're.
We hope you're healthy, well, and doing well.
Yeah, above board.
Rumors of your demise have been
Might be,
overly
yeah,
exaggerated.
it could be.
I always wanted to use that in
I'm
context.
very sorry.
I wanted to use it in context about myself.
I don't know.
I love that
I think
phrase.
the show's over.
Yeah, I
Let's
think
go.
so, with you then. But thank you all once again for being on the Great Card Quest. Thank
There
you,
you go.
George Grenchick. Our fountain of knowledge is here with us, and we'll see you next time. We're the Master Antonio signing out. Please hit like and subscribe. Talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.